Hi everyone, Henry here, and I'm back in the corner doing the corner things. Just today, actually, Paul Vanderklay put out a video kind of talking about my first video, and that was really cool and a very interesting experience. He upcycled my content on his channel, so hopefully people were able to check that out. And I really appreciated his comments and his insights because I really did think I was just kind of meandering for about 20 minutes. I'm not going to talk about corner things in this video though, so now that everybody's been baited here to this channel to talk about things like dominance hierarchies and, the nature of the corner and what the TLC is and what the TLC should be and what it isn't and what it could be and how we really just need to like shill and grift and become a really big thing, or we really don't need to do that. We need to keep it small scale. We're not talking about any of that. I've lured you all here so I can talk about some music that I really like that I think that the corner or individuals in the corner might really enjoy if they've never heard of them before, because I've wanted to shill and plug this artist and this album from another artist for quite a while. Um, so here we go. I want to talk about Jess Ray. Jess Ray is a singer-songwriter who does Christian kind of faith adjacent sometimes music, and her music kind of kept me from going totally over the edge in college at a certain point. There's a lot of things kind of happening to help me keep myself off the edge, but her music really was kind of a grounding and something as a kind of almost therapeutic in a really dark patch in my life. Um, so I'm just gonna shill her music, I guess. Like all of her albums are great. Parallels and Meridians was the first one that I was introduced to. It was through a friend in the Baptist Collegiate Ministry. We were having a conversation late at night after some church event at his space, um, in the late hours, and he said, "Hey, have you ever listened to this music? I think you might like it." Um, and I think I immediately fell in love with that album. Uh, there's a lot of albums. I already said Parallels and Meridians is really good. That's maybe my like second favorite album, but I think the number one, or at least the best one to talk about, and I have this one on vinyl, which is the only one on vinyl, so I don't have to get like a little JPEG to come up on screen, is Born Again. Came out in 2022. And when it first came out, I was not on board with it because I was so used to her sound from like two albums prior. So like Parallels and Meridians came out in like 2018, I think, 2017. And I hadn't listened to another one of her albums later, which is almost a little bit more in tune and in style with Born Again. So initially I wasn't on board with this album. And then at some point I just sat down in my apartment and had listened to like the whole thing over once. I was like, oh no, this is really good. Um, at the time of the release of this, Jess Ray also did kind of a mini podcast and talked with a bunch of different people, related to the music thematically. So just about every track had kind of a connected, corresponding podcast with somebody different talking in conversation about what it means to be born again in terms of like a revival sense, or like a renewed faith, and getting out of deconstruction. Best Friend, which is a pretty good track off the album, was also paired with a really good conversation with Taylor Lenhart, who was her bandmate. And that felt very, at the time, even listening to it, as ingrained already in the corner and like lurking there, very cornery conversation and just kind of the stuff that, I don't know, it was worth listening to. That might be something to like just put down there in the chat to listen to for y'all, because I don't know how much audio I can play with this kind of stuff without getting in trouble. This is not the stuff to upcycle. But yeah, Born Again's a great album. I'm gonna try and just do like the top three songs and then maybe try and play snippets of each. We'll see how that goes. But number three for Born Again would be What Have We Been Believing In? If not now, then when we were born for this. This is a track kind of about coming out of a storm or coming out of, especially out of COVID. This was a lot of inspired by like coming out of the pandemic. What is it? Where is the hope found? Where is uh, our strength, our source, our of comfort coming from? And it's a nice kind of upbeat track. I don't know if any of Jess Ray's music is particularly upbeat per se or super like great. It's like a vibe. Really selling this. Number two is Lilies and Sparrows, and it is really just a lyrical kind of summary and rendition of the Lilies and Sparrows segment of the Sermon on the Mount in Matthew.
Don't you know that your Father in heaven knows just what you need? Seek Him first, and everything else that you need will be given.
This is a really good song too. It's a vibe. It's pretty easy to kind of memorize, really, because it is just Jesus's words in a pretty chill song. It's really good too. And then lastly, we have At Your Mercy. This is my number one pick from the album.
Into your hands I commit my spirit. Into your arms I surrender all.
And At Your Mercy has at times kind of been like an anthem, like for me in the faith, especially when things are really difficult. This is often a prayer of mine when I really can't think of anything else to pray. Born Again's a great album. Go give it a listen. I'll try and play some of the excerpts from it interspersed in here. So that's Born Again and Jess Ray. I could talk about Jess Ray a lot, but I will not do that. The other album I wanted to recommend, because I think it's also really good, is called Into the Lantern Waste by Sarah Sparks. This is all inspired by C.S. Lewis's Chronicles of Narnia, which I'm going to get, I don't know, commented on about this, but I've not read the Chronicles of Narnia in their entirety. I've read The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, and that's it. And I've always struggled to get into those books for whatever reason. And I don't know why, I just have. But this is a great album too. And this works both in terms of as like an homage and a ongoing kind of allusion to those texts, but it also works with different lenses of just like the faith. Obviously, C.S. Lewis was no stranger to the Christian faith, and his writing in Narnia was very allegorical and very on the nose with regards to the Christian faith, and so this music, in some respects, is as well. I'm not going to go in super detail with these, but my number three slot is competing with the track Eustace Scrub and the new song of Trumpkin. Number two is Shasta's Complaint. Shasta's Complaint feels very much like kind of a allusion to the Book of Job, and by the end of it, really. And I really like that one as well. It's pretty great too. And then number one is Puddlegum's Anthem. Puddlegum's Anthem is very much reminds me of Peter's betrayal of Christ and the ability he has to then in turn be forgiven and return to the Father, to Jesus. And that song does a really good summary of that as well. Those are the albums. I guess I'll try and link them in the bottom. Like I said, I'll try and play like audio clips from them for like 10 seconds each. We'll see. So yeah, this was probably not the next video to make after talking about corner things and critiques of the church, but I really wanted to just kind of get it out there that Jess Ray is a really good artist. You should go check out her work, and so is Sarah Sparks. And this is the music that I listen to all the time, and this is the music that has in a lot of ways helped me keep the faith. So tell me what you think. If you like the music, if you don't like the music, there we go. That's all. Bye.